The recent disturbing revelation from Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan journalist Agatha Luthairi about the alleged abduction, torture, and illegal detention in Tanzania have shocked the region. As more details emerge, the controversy could have far-reaching legal and diplomatic implications. If proven true, these actions may not only violate international human rights laws, but could also place Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan at risk of facing justice before the International Criminal Court. So I want us to look into this issue using 5 reasons why this case could escalate to the Hague. Reason number 1, credible allegations of state-sanctioned torture and abduction. Both Mwangi and Al-Tuhairi claims they were abducted while in Tanzania and subjected to inhumane treatment under the watch of the state authorities. Mwangi describing being a whole blindfolded, beaten, and interrogated in a secret location, while Al-Tuhairi spoke of horrifying torture threats to her life. Here's the story.
They took me to a wall, then told me to face the wall and then squat. Then a man came and was putting his fingers and saying that, say you're feeling nice, say you're feeling good, say Asante Samia. Then they would do that. And then they would do
me up the time they first handcuffed me, but before handcuffing me, they put my jumper that I was wearing to put the handcuffs on top. But still, it still left marks anyway. Yeah, so they tied my legs, my arms to my legs, and they also, put like something wood, like a stick in between, and then they carry me upside down like that.
Well, very tricky. So if these acts are found to have been carried out or sanctioned by Tanzania state security agencies, they constitute grave violations of international law, especially the Convention Against Torture, to which Tanzania is a signatory. Underline the word to which Tanzania is a signatory. So torture carried out under state authority can form the basis for crimes against humanity, which fall under the jurisdictions of the ICC. Unaona mambo vile inaenda? Tricky situation. The second reason as why this case might escalate to the International Criminal Court is that cross-border human rights violations. The fact that the alleged victims are not Tanzanian citizens but from neighboring Kenya and Uganda raises the stakes. If evidence proves that Tanzanian abducted foreign nationals on its soil, mistreated them, and detained them without legal process, it becomes a case of transnational human rights abuse. This will not only strain diplomatic relations with Kenya, Uganda, but also attract the attention of international watchdogs and human rights courts. So the ICC has previously acted in cases where citizens from other nations were unlawfully detained and abused by a host government. So if ICC decides to go deeper into this, Suluhu ziona kipolea, it will be another different story. The third reason as why this case may escalate to Hague is that the violation of international treaties and regional protocols. What does that mean? This means that Tanzania under President Samia Suluhu has ratified numerous regional and international treaties that promotes human rights, including the Africa Charter on Human and People's Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. So the abduction and alleged torture of foreign activists directly violates these treaties. Sijika tunaelewana hapo. So continued on non-compliance and coupled with failure to launch an independent investigation or prosecute those responsible, like those torturers that Boniface Mwangi and Al-Tuhairi were talking about, that they tortured them, opens the door for international legal action. So Hague kuingia hapa ni rahisi sana and get, kuchota wa jamana kwenda nao. So if the victims of or civil society organization present sufficient evidence, the ICC could intervene under the principle of complementarity when state is unwilling or unable to act, like Tanzania. By the way, Jama, there's nothing that happened to, like, they did not follow any Tanzanian law, prosecute these guys if they were on the wrong side or they violated the Tanzanian law. Instead, waliamua kuwatesa na kuwafanyia zile vitu waliwafanyia.
These state-sanctioned atrocities are not isolated incidents. They are deliberate and coordinated strategy used by East Africa's autocrats, William Ruto, Samia Suluhu Hassan, and Yoweri Museveni, in desperate, unconstitutional, and increasingly violent and terroristic bids to cling to power. Intimidation, trumped-up charges, forced disappearances, abductions, torture, sexual violence, and extrajudicial killings.
The fourth reason as why this case might escalate to Hague is that this incident is not isolated. Human rights groups have repeatedly raised concern about the rising authoritarianism in Tanzania, including suppression of journalists, activists, and opposition figures under Samia Suluhu's leadership. Although initially seen as a reformist, the government, in fact, the current government has been accused of continuing, suppressive tactics similar to those of, mnakumbuka former Magufuli vile alikuwa anafanya vitu similar to those. So if international observers establish what Mwangi and Altuhaire's ordeal fits into wide pattern of state-sponsored intimidation and abuse, it strengthens the argument for ICC involvement. So remember, one thing you should remember is that the Rome Statute allows the court to intervene where crimes against humanity, including prosecution and unlawful imprisonment, are widespread or systematic. Underline the word unlawful imprisonment or prosecution. Exactly what happened to the two guys. Altuhaire, this lady from Uganda, and Boniface Mwangi from here, Kenya here. So the last and final reason why this case might escalate to ICC is that the Tanzanian government's silence or denial in the wake of these serious allegations will likely raise more suspicions. Why? Because if no transparent, independent, and credible investigation is launched, and if victims are denied justice through Tanzanian courts, just like Boniface Mwangi and his counterpart, Agatha Altuhaire, yesterday announced that they already launched the case in Tanzanian courts. So if the justice is denied, and then the ICC can be petitioned to step in. Remember, the principle of no impunity is central to the ICC mandate. So should civil society, international human rights bodies, or even foreign government files a formal complaint, the prosecutor of the ICC could open a preliminary examination into the matter. Now, in conclusion, while President Samia Suluhu may still enjoy strong international support and reputation for soft diplomacy, the gravity of the accusations linked to Boniface Mwangi and Agatha Altuhaire's detention may tarnish that image. Spend. So if credible evidence shows her government authorized or ignored such abuses, she could find herself under scrutiny from the highest court in the world, the ICC. And ICC sio kitu ya kwenda kunegotiate. Inatoanga black and white. So the call of accountability is growing louder and the world is watching. So that is it. I've been your host, David Chams. If you're new here, maybe watching for the very first time, remember to subscribe, give a channel the like, and also do not forget to hit that notification button. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. So make sure you be among the first to make this happen, and also hold our hands. We build this together. See you. Bye-bye.